Hello and welcome to the Outer East Football Netball Show, brought to you by Gameface. I'm Aidan Miller, and once again alongside me is Steph Barkers. Good afternoon, Steph.
Good afternoon, Aidan. Very happy to be here, and on May 3rd. So, we've got some friends joining us on the desk today because tomorrow is May the 4th.
It will be May the 4th.
Star Wars Day.
Exactly right. So happy Star Wars Day to all those viewers for tomorrow. We hope you have a very good day and look forward to another big week of footy. We'll take you through this week's show once again. So, of course, Around the Grounds is back. Who Am I is back as well. We'll tell you the winner of last week, and once again we'll go through who this week's Who Am I is going to be. We'll go through the matches of the round, and once again another special guest this week. It's our umpiring director, Jason McNiece. We're going to have an interview with him as well, so looking forward to all of that. And of course, Around the Ground news, Steph, what are we looking at this week?
So this week we announced the Outer East coaches for the Netball Victoria Association Championships. The teams will be announced next week, so make sure you look out for that. But a massive congratulations to these coaches. So Chelsea Marr will be coaching the 13 and unders. Karen Meredith and Mandy Hopkins will be coaching the 15 and unders. And Matt Cook and Lisa Gallard will be coaching 17 and under. So very exciting to have those guys on board. Trials were on Sunday. I managed to get down there and see the girls and boys try out there. It's going to be tough to pick teams. There were some great netballers trying out. So yeah, looking forward to seeing who makes the squad.
Well, that's what we want to hear, Steph. We want to hear that there's plenty of good competition as well. Congratulations to Hillsville's Briley Anderson, who recently played for Vic Metro in the March AFL National Development Championships. She was not only named in the All-Australian team, she was also Vic Metro's MVP for the under-16 girls. And Briley will continue her development with the Eastern Rangers training with the under-18 girls squad. According to coach Jared Donders, who's also an Emerald alumni, Briley is a tough inside mid who is physically tough in the contest, both in the air and on the ground, but she has also shown diversity by playing throughout the backline in Vic Metro. We're looking forward to Briley debuting for us in the coming weeks and send our congratulations to her achievements in the National Development Championships.
We're also seeking expressions of interest for junior interleague teams at the moment for both trainers and team managers. So if you have any interest in applying for those roles, we'll put Andy's email below. Please contact Andy. He'd love to hear from you. He can give you more information. And looking forward to receiving your responses there.
We'd also like to seek expression of interest for the Women of the Outer East Advisory Board. The board supports Outer East football netball across 4 pillars: empowerment, opportunity, visibility and inclusivity. If you'd like to know more about it, please email Maddie Goff and she'll give you more details about it.
Beautiful. And last but not least, the Toyota Good for Footy raffles live. So if you haven't already, register your club, start selling raffle tickets. The good thing about Toyota Good for Footy is that your club keeps 100% of the profits that they make off the raffle. And then those who do have raffle tickets are in the chance to win a ton of prizes. But I guess the standout, there's 3 brand new Toyotas up for grabs, which is huge, as we see.
Exactly right. Very good prize. So make sure you get involved. It should be lots of fun. Now we'll move over to Who Am I? So for last week's Who Am I, if you did guess it correctly, it was in fact Kate Upton, North East Players coach and of course former Wandon alumni. So congratulations to those who did guess correctly. Now we move over to this week's Who Am I? So Steph, give them the first clue.
I'm excited about this one to see who can guess it. So this person is an Upway Tacoma alumni.
Reckon you can get from that? I'll give you another one. I have 3 life memberships with 3 different clubs within the AFL.
And last but not least, I'm currently involved with my 4th AFL club as a head coach. And this club is currently the only club of the 4 that I've not won a premiership with. That's a very successful career there, obviously.
Very, very good career. We're not going to tell you who it is, of course, but if you want to guess, make sure you comment in the section below. Give all your guesses there, and we'll announce who the winner is next week. And now we will move on to the matches of the round.
Matches of the round. All right, Aidan, take us through your top games. I'm sure it was a tough choice, but
plenty of good games throughout the week. We'll go through, of course, our matches of the round, and we will go through. We had a couple of draws this week, Steph, would you believe? Not one, but we had 2, in fact. So don't get that very often. We had one in the AFL as well, so just draws absolutely everywhere. But we will start off with our match of the round, which was between Narre Warren and Wandon, the grand final rematch of last year. The final scores 16-15, 111. Narre Warren defeated Wandon 11-7, 73. It was really close up until halftime, Steph, even at 3-quarter time, but the Magpies really just flexed the muscle in the last quarter and showed why they're still a strong premiership contender in season 2024. Kurt Mutimer had 33 disposals. Peter Gentili had 27 along with 3 goals, and Sam Toner also starred with 4 goals for the Magpies. For the Dogs, Chase Black had 24 disposals and Cody Hurst had 20. Aramala kicked 4 goals and Clint Johnson and Brody Atkins both kicked 2. As we now move across to our other match of the round, which was between Seville and Belgrave, the first of our two draws. Seville 10-11-71, drew Belgrave 11-5-71. This game was played on Anzac Day as well, so alongside the Anzac Day draw in the AFL. Mark Cesare had 27 disposals and Anthony Bernardo had 24. Ryan Farrow kicked 3 goals for the Blues. And for the Magpies, Chris Campbell had 21 disposals and Chris Westcott had 20. And Chris Campbell, along with those 21 disposals, also kicked 4 goals. So a big day there for Chris Campbell.
Huge, absolutely massive day. Love that.
Yep, we'll now look at some of the netball scores. So to start off once again, our match of the round between Narre Warren and Wandon. Really close game at Wastep. Wandon led by 3 goals at 3/4 time, but Narre Warren ultimately getting over the line by 3 goals, the exact same margin they trailed by at the final break. Grace Lolu had 24 goals for the Magpies, and Lauren Spinks, in the absence of Amalia Blake, stood up and got 33 goals. A really strong performance by her, but ultimately wasn't enough to get the Dogs the win. Now we move across to our second draw of the week between Monbulk and Mount Evelyn, the local rivalry. 46-all was the final score. Ellie Stewart had 25 goals for Monbulk, and Rory Barr had 30 goals for Mount Evelyn. So once again, second draw, 46-all, plenty of close results throughout the week. And we now move across to women's football. Steph, a couple of close games here as well. Firstly, Upwey Tacoma versus Lindafernie Cregan. A little bit of an upset, I thought this was, with Upwey Tacoma coming away with a 12-point win over the Bloods, the reigning premiers from last year. 5-3-33 were the Tigers, defeating the Bloods 3-3-21. Alexandra Bantock kicked 3 goals, and Phoebe Dixon kicked 2 goals for Lindafernie Creek. In our other matchup as well, Woori-Alec versus Emerald. The final scores there, Woori-Alec 4-5-29, defeated Emerald 2-1-13. Amelia Robin, Emily Spicer, Katrina DeCauto and India James all kicked 1 goal each. And for Emerald, Molly Webb and Sage Van Haren both kicked singles. And that is our match of the rounds for the week, Steph.
Incredible. Thank you, Aidan, for taking us through that. And as you said, lots of close games. I'd love to see multiple goal kickers in the women's too. It's good to see. So very exciting. All right, it's time for our special guest. Aidan is going to be interviewing Jason McNiece this week. Obviously, the key reason that we wanted Jason on the show is because next week is Community Umpiring Week. We're going to be celebrating with the AFL all our umpires across football and netball, thanking them for their contributions to Outer East football netball. And stay tuned to hear a little bit about Jason and his role.
Should be a really good interview, and I'm really looking forward. I've spoken with Jason a little bit before as well, and he'll have plenty of good insights into the key intricacies of umpiring, so stick around for that one as well. Well, Jason, thank you for joining us on the show today, and the first question I'd like to ask you is, how long have you been involved in umpiring, and when did you first start?
I've been involved in umpiring since 1988. When I was a 16-year-old, I took up banjo umpiring at what is now the Southern Football League, but back then it was the South East Suburban Football League. And then I took up field umpiring the next year at the Yarra Juniors. So it's been a long journey so far.
Can you please give us a bit of an overview in what your role is here at the Outer East and some of the things that it entails?
So my role as Director of Umpiring, I oversee the whole umpiring operation. So in terms of recruitment, retention, coaching, development of umpires, assisting our coaches to make sure they're developing in their own way, and providing feedback to all our umpires on Saturdays and all match days.
Yeah, I'd also like to ask about the Community Umpiring Week, which is coming up this week. What does that also going to entail, and what is some of the things that the AFL is going to provide over the week for you guys at the Outer East?
So Community Umpiring Week is next week, which would so basically what would entail is the AFL, as part of the AFL umpiring contract with all AFL umpires, part of their CV is that they must go out to local community groups during this week. So we've been fortunate to get our umpiring ambassador, Matt White, to come. And we've also secured Simon Plumridge, who was did AFL finals last year. He's going to come out, and we're in the process of trying to negotiate with Ian Burrows, who started at Outer East back in the early 2000s and done over 300 AFL games and numerous grand finals. We're hoping that he will come out next week. And what they do, they just take training, so assist with skill work, take a lecture, answer questions, and just provide feedback to all our umpires during the day.
Yep. What are some of the main goals you set at training, and what does umpiring training look like? during each week?
It's actually changed a lot during the years. Back when I started, it was all running, but now we're working with getting skilled, making sure umpires are skilled up, so improving their skill level, making it a little bit more enjoyable. But we've got to engage with the group because we've got umpires, male and female, that range in the age from 12 and a half to all the way up through to our oldest umpire will be 77. So we've got to engage the whole group, making sure that they're upskilled, having fun, and also engaged and being part of the group. So we would do skill work, like set kick control, boundary throw-ins, goal umpires will practice waving their flags, which is very important. We've got to get the flag waving right. And just making sure we get our decisions right on a Saturday.
Yep. The fitness part is really important, isn't it? Because there's actually been stats that show the boundary umpires actually tend to cover more kilometres per game than what the players do, and the field umpires are very, very similar with the players as well. So that is actually one thing a lot of people probably wouldn't know. It's probably one of the only sports, would you agree, it's probably one of the only sports in the world where the players have to hold a similar level of fitness to the actual player. The umpires have to hold a similar level of fitness to the actual players.
We actually do, a few of us do have GPS units. So our boundary umpires would consistently be doing anything between 14 to 16k on a Saturday, and our field umpires would be running anything between 10 to 14, just depending on the level of game, whether it's a 2-umpire game or a 3-umpire game. So it can be quite taxing on the body, particularly as you get older, like I am, and a few of our other umpires are. Can be quite hard to get up on a Sunday morning and do the lawns like you need to, something like that. Yeah.
What are some of the things you enjoy about umpiring?
Just the involvement. We all can't play footy. I was not a bad footballer. I was never a great footballer, and I realised I wasn't going to reach any great levels as a footballer. So the way that I stayed involved with umpiring. And then I realised I was told early I was fortunate enough to be good at it at an early age. So I just went through the career path and met a lot of great people. Just the friendships I've made over time, the involvement in the sport, and it's a good way to keep fit and get engaged in the local sporting community.
What is your biggest highlight from your umpiring career?
My biggest highlight, undoubtedly making the VFL development squad. I was in the VFL system for 7 years. That was undoubtedly a highlight. I started umpiring, back when I started umpiring, guys like Matt Stevie, Ray Chamberlain, Simon Meredith, Chris Dondon. I all started with them. They were fortunate enough to go to the top of the tree at an umpire grand finals, where I was just stayed at local state level, but I was very lucky, very fortunate enough to get to that level. There's a lot of guys and girls try to get there, and unfortunately they don't quite get there. But I was lucky enough to get where I was, so I'm very, very fortunate.
That's a very good achievement. And what is a message that you give out to anyone who's looking to get into umpiring, who hasn't maybe got into it just yet?
Just give it a go. You don't know until you try it. It's a great way to keep involved in, particularly ex-players who, we've recruited 2 or 3 guys and girls this year who have received career-ending injuries. They're only in their mid-20s, early 30s, and they want to stay involved in local footy. So we've actually encouraged them to take up umpiring, and they reckon it's the best thing they've done. They reckon they should have done it 5 years, 10 years ago, because they're keeping fit, they're still engaged with their local community. They're learning life skills, which they may not have learned in other sporting clubs, so it's a great way to keep fit. So,
Jason, thank you very much for joining us today, mate. Some very good insights, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers will be better for all the knowledge you've been able to impart on them. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, that's all we have for this week, and we'd like to thank you for tuning in once again to the Outer East Football Netball Show. Steph, thank you again for joining me as well.
Thank you for having me. Always love being here.
Yep, and for any of those watching the show, please leave a comment below for what you'd like to see, who you'd like us to interview. We're going to try and do as much as we can, so please, once again, leave your comments down below. And for all those tuning in, don't forget to get your game face on.